bugs flying around everywhere. Really quickly, I just want to put a trigger warning on this video. I don't think it will be over triggering to anyone, I hope, but just putting it out there. I really just don't want to upset anyone. And also a disclaimer, I am not a doctor or a healthcare professional. I don't know anything in a educational standpoint, educational view of things, but I have personal experience. Hey everyone, it's Brie. Never know how to start these things. So today I want to talk to you about the difference between private hospital and public hospitals, mostly talking about eating disorder admissions. I'm just going to try and stick to my experience of both. Everywhere is different, but I'm going to tell you my opinion of my public health admission and private hospital admission. So we'll just start off with the health insurance side of things. Going into a public hospital, you don't need health insurance in Australia, but when it comes to private hospitals or clinics, you will need insurance. Yeah, you pay a certain amount depending on your... You pay a certain amount depending on what health insurance you're with. So the insurance that I was with, you pay $500 to the hospital, and then that covers your stay generally while you're there, besides any extra medications, I think. So in no way do I want to bash either private or public hospitals. It can be different for different people because someone might cope with something better, or something may not be as big a deal to someone else as what it was to me. Some people might not even need a medical admission, which is totally fine. That does not mean that you don't need to have a mental health admission. It just means that your body may be coping better than what someone else's might. Weight has nothing to do with needing a medical admission or not. It's to do with your bloods and your ECG, where they trace your heart and monitor that. Your blood pressure, heart rate, glucose levels, also all different types of other levels in your blood that come into it. Potassium, which is your electrolytes. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know anything. So some people have a medical admission before they have a psychiatric admission, and that can range from 1 or 2 days to 1 or 2 weeks, even a month sometimes. It just depends. Everyone's usually aiming for the same thing, to get that person healthier, functioning better, and then pretty much to get you out so you can kind of continue recovery in the community, because no one is going to get better when they are just having a hospital admission. You know, you don't go in to hospital and then come out cured. It usually takes a lot longer and a lot more ongoing treatment to get to the point of someone being able to say that they're cured or recovered or whatever. Even then, some people just don't ever recover, which is okay too. It's something that has to be continued to work at every day. When it comes to meals at hospitals, the places where I went to, the public hospital was on a 2-week rotation, so they would have meals different every day for 2 weeks, and then they would rotate around and start again at the beginning of the fortnight. In the private hospital, they would have a 4-week rotation, which was a lot nicer because you would have different choices. And if you're someone that's vegetarian or celiac or lactose intolerant, being at a private hospital, you have a lot more options. Alright, let's talk about overnight feed. They're something that you always have them when you're in a medical ward. Usually, not always, but they try to have anyone that's medically unstable on continuous feeds, just so they know what's going into someone's body and they know how much nutrition they're getting. And when you're medically unstable, that's really important. That can be something that happens for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, just depending on your situation, and that really sucks. But if we're being realistic, what we want is to be eating and to be healthy, and that's what we want. When you go to a psychiatric unit in a public hospital, once you're medically stable, they want to have you eating everything that you need to gain weight, because living with an NG tube is not realistic, or it's not a way of life. You don't want to be having a tube in and that being the way that you get your food, because it's not bad, it's just not a normal way to live. Private hospitals are a little bit different, though it goes through changes depending on the patients that are there and on the program. Depends on your doctor, depends on the dietitian and what they want for you. Where I went to, protocol for people was that you were on overnight feeds, and that was how it was until you reached the BMI that they wanted you to be at, which would usually be a BMI of 20. And once you were at the BMI of 20, you were able to go on a maintenance diet. And I said that wrong. You basically eat a maintenance diet the whole time that you're there, but the overnight feeds are for getting your weight up. That's what I didn't like about the way the public hospital worked. You were kind of like eating all this food and eating extra food to gain weight, and it was usually to gain about 1 kilo a week. Overnight feeds aren't as common once a patient is medically stable. They get you to eat what you have to eat to gain the weight and to get out. A lot of supplements involved. But then in private hospitals, most patients are on overnight feeds until they get to the required BMI. So unfortunately at this point in time, my camera's lens completely crapped itself and I carried on recording for another 45 minutes. I really didn't want to subject you guys to this. I had to go and get another lens. Hope you can forgive me, and I'll just let you keep watching. So when it comes to dietitians, it's nearly the same for private and public. You see the dietitian generally twice a week. On weigh days, they discuss your treatment with you in terms of nutritional intake. I have never met a nasty dietitian in my life, and they're actually always the loveliest people. They're so kind and caring and considerate. Unfortunately, they are the ones that will always get most of the crap from their patients, and from eating disorder patients in particular. I put this down to the fact that they are the ones that are choosing what you have as food, what you have as supplements, how you are to get what you need to get to put the weight on if that's what you are doing in hospital. Weight gain, that's a sensitive topic for some people. Talking about weight gain, not everyone goes into hospital needing to gain weight, and just because someone isn't needing to gain weight doesn't mean that they're not sick. It just means that at that point in time, that's not what's required of them. I would say a large percentage of eating disorder patients that are admitted to inpatient treatment are there for weight gain, and it's because it's got out of hand to the point that they need someone else to step in and take care of those things for them. It's usually a discharge BMI of 17.5, which when I think about it, it is ridiculously low. Unfortunately, because of the high demand of people needing to be inpatient, when they bring people in, get their BMI up as quickly as possible and then kind of just boot them out because they don't have the funds or the reserves to cater for that many people at one time, and they need to be looking after the people that are medically more compromised and in a more dangerous situation physically. I wish they could just look after everyone that needs to be admitted to hospital, whether they are at a healthy weight or at an unhealthy weight. So in the private system, it's usually a discharge BMI of 20, which is a lot better. I feel that's more realistic as well. Some people may never have been at a BMI of 20, or no matter how much nutrition they get, they can't seem to get their BMI up. In those cases, probably would be discharged sooner. And then some people might stay in hospital until they get to BMI 22 or 23. Everyone's different. Do what's best for you. Get to the level that your body is functioning best at and you feel mentally and physically like you're coping with life better. And I just want to say really quickly as well, BMI is not the be all and end all of everything. It is a stupid mathematical equation that I just hate so much. To me, what's important are the behaviors, and they are what gets you to where you are, whether it's feeling like crap or a low BMI or a high BMI, the behaviors and the emotions and feelings and all that stuff is what matters the most. BMI is so irrelevant. It's part of the requirement that people meet when they are being admitted to hospital. There's so many other parts of the criteria. So the last thing that I want to talk about is the weighing process. It's very different in all the hospitals I've been in. It's always the same in both, that they want you to empty your bladder before being weighed, because if you drank 3 cups of water or whatever the night before, they want to make sure that any extra fluid that's in your system is out. For public hospitals, don't wear any clothes except for a hospital gown or hospital pajamas. A lot of the time as well, you get weighed blind, so you go on backwards so you don't see your weight. And usually, for me anyway, they never really told me my weight throughout my whole admission. So you would still go to the bathroom before being weighed, but you would go to the weigh room or the treatment room, wherever they have the scales, take your pajamas off there and be weighed in your underwear, so that they knew that no one was faking their weight, or minimize the risk of people faking their weight. They wouldn't be too bothered about if you knew your weight or not, unless you were someone that really had a freak out when you gained weight, just because they like you to know your weight. You can be on the same page as your doctor and your treating team, and when you do find your weight out when you're at home or later on in the admission, that it won't be such a huge shock, like, oh my god, I've gained, oh my god, my life's over. Because yes, it can be really upsetting gaining weight, and it is, but it's important that you do that if that's what you need and your body needs. I really hope I haven't upset anybody by what I've said today or hurt anyone's feelings. I've tried to be as accurate as I can from what I can recall. If you want me to talk about anything else, just let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this video, don't forget to give me a thumb up and subscribe if you want to. That's all from me today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Please look after yourself. I will see you soon. Bye. I bought Finding Dory on DVD. I don't know if you can see that. She's